Israel stands trial for a second day at the International Court of Justice. The hearing looks at Israel's obligations towards international bodies in occupied Palestine after Israel banned UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, in October. It is the third ICJ hearing into Israeli violations of international law since 2004, and it comes amid widespread starvation in Gaza, which we will be looking into later on the show. Riyad Mansour, the Palestinian ambassador to the UN, told reporters outside The Hague that justice is about more than aid. Our reporter, Sondos Asim, was on site.
We need to see the end of this illegal occupation. We need to see the implementation of the two-state solution to become a reality and to allow the Palestinian people to live in freedom and dignity in our land, which we love immensely, Palestine. And we will do that. Thank you.
Cross-border gunfire, the demolition of suspects' homes, and clashes between diaspora populations overseas. Tensions are escalating between India and Pakistan following the deadly April 22nd attack in Kashmir, in which 26 people were killed by an armed group, 25 of them Indian tourists. It was the deadliest civilian attack in decades in the disputed territory, over which the nuclear-armed rivals have fought 3 wars. India has accused Pakistan of supporting the militants and withdrawn from a vital water-sharing treaty. Pakistan denies involvement and says any attempt to divert its water source will be taken as an act of war.
Now, at least 68 people have been killed and 47 wounded after US airstrikes in Yemen struck a migrant detention center on Monday. The victims came from several African countries and were detained while crossing to Yemen in a bid to seek work in Saudi Arabia. It marks the deadliest attack since Donald Trump launched an airstrike campaign against the Houthis last month. In response, the group has vowed to continue its attack in the Red Sea and Arabian Sea.
Meanwhile, the number of casualties from Saturday's port explosion in Iran has now surpassed 70 people. MEE received footage from the site in Bandar Abbas, a site that CNN reported in February had received hundreds of tons of chemicals from China to fuel Iran's ballistic missile program. Tehran has denied links to missile fuel and instead blames the explosion on a failure to observe safety principles at the site. Over 1,000 people were reportedly wounded by the blast.
And finally, officials for former US President Joe Biden have admitted the Democratic leader never once pressured Israel for a ceasefire, even as Gaza's death toll passed 30,000, an investigation by Israeli Channel 13 has revealed. This revelation about US complicity comes as Amnesty International accuses current US President Donald Trump of directly causing a global human rights crisis. The international NGO's annual report warns of creeping authoritarianism and the annihilation of international law in the 100 days since Trump resumed leadership. Next up, we examine those 100 days more closely and ask what they've meant for the Middle East and the world.